What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode here on the Malazan server, and today we are going to be doing a couple of different little bits and pieces. Well, one main thing, to be honest with you, but I thought I'd quickly show you the changes that I've made with this area up here. Is I've sort of tidied it all up. I got rid of our auto chicken cooker, and then I also got rid of the two other water elevators that went to the surface either side here. I also went ahead and built the coral farm. Now with this, you just literally switch it on. You have to make sure you use silk touch, and then it will bone mill the actual coral. So then you sort of just pretty much spam the right trigger on the Xbox, and then all the coral will then float to you. You can also use shears for this farm for getting seagrass. Now the reason that I've done this farm completely off camera is because it is stupidly simple. It's just a dispenser firing automatically into that sand block in the middle there, and the end of it is built just too far out of reach so that we can't break the end blocks, and that clicking is because we're out of bone mill. And also tidied up our sea pickle farm, so we just have to flip the lever on this one and it will carry on kicking off, and it takes only around about 4 or 5 minutes before you end up having a full shulker chest. And I've already shipped one of them over to the beach shack to sell. Although I don't think anyone's going to bother buying sea pickles. I don't think anyone's really doing underwater bases apart from me. And that turtle's been stuck there for ages. I also had an Enderman come in, and he actually took the liberties of putting a dirt block right there in the middle of my slime farm. And I really want to get round to moving it because it's starting to bug me. Today's project though is, first off, I want to try to make sure that we don't go over the 20-minute mark on the video. So depending on how quickly we get this project done, this is probably going to be our primary project, I guess. But what I want to do is actually get a pumpkin pie farm up and running, which means we have to fit 3 different farms into this one little area here. Now I've just planted some pumpkin seeds here because I was testing different mechanics with them, just to see which way I can harvest them and how to create a couple of lossless farms, because we're going to need a chicken sort of egg dispensary farm because we're going to need eggs for it. Then we're going to need pumpkins, obviously, and then we're going to need sugar cane for the sugar. And then we can just ship them all to the middle. And then we'll have some crafting tables here so we can just break the chests and then craft ourselves some pumpkin pies. But the first farm we want to do is actually the pumpkin side. And in order to do this, we're going to quickly run a line of hoppers right down the back here. So what I'm going to do is clear this little line out, run some hoppers into a chest just off from the center, so say here, and then they can just run around the back wall underneath there. So let me run these quickly. Okay, so we've got the hoppers run, and I forgot to empty my inventory because we just picked up a bunch of that coral bone meal on us that we don't currently need right this second. Get rid of them. And the way that we're going to do this is we're going to have a pumpkin plant every other block. So we don't want it up to about here. So say our first one can go there, and then so on and so forth. And then what we are going to want to do is have all the other spots available for the pumpkins to be harvested from, obviously, so that way each plant has either side to be able to grow on, which means we're going to need our harvesters in each one of these spots here. Yeah, so we're going to want these blocks just broken out. So if we just do that, we'll be really careful around here because there's farms and things literally all around this area. Like, I know that them stone bricks that we just busted into accidentally there is something, and I'm not too sure what that is, so we'll be a little bit careful when we're working in this area now. What is actually there? Oh, that's just going to be the external wall. We don't really have to worry too much about that then. Okay, I was getting a little bit concerned. That's the wrong chest for now. We are going to want some sticky pistons, some slime blocks, some rails. We've got a bunch of hoppers that I made preemptively for doing this, so let's whack these sticky pistons in. And then what I'm going to be doing with these to make it a completely lossless farm is that we're going to be using a little trick with the minecarts and, well, hopper mine carts preferably, so we're going to need a little bit of iron on us. And like I saw, let's quickly grab some of you, make a minecart, off a minecart. I'll just show you how this works. I'm going to need, we've got some stone, yeah, just make a button. So what you can actually do is if you lay some rail just underneath that, the slime block will then get stuck to the rail, so you can activate the sticky piston, and what it will do is actually move the rail with the slime block. So that's always handy, and then what you can do is put a hopper minecart on it, like so, and then the hopper minecart will actually go back and forth with the slime block and the rail. So when the plant actually grows there, the hopper minecart will pick it up, like when it breaks it, which it will do. So if we grab our demonstration pumpkin, which is in our inventory, if we quickly grab that, we can throw it down, and then we can do that. So it automatically harvests it, and then it should then automatically get fed through to here. Thank you very much. So that's what we're going to do for the rest of these guys. Alright, so we've got all of our minecarts in place now, and I've picked up a load more garbage blocks, clearing out a little area behind there. So let's just throw all of these away into there. And then I've got some random redstone gadgets on me that I don't actually need. So what do we need? What do we need? We need some dirt blocks, which we should have on hand. And then we're going to need some water out the back. And we're going to need a hoe. There we go. So just behind here is where we can throw our water. We don't actually need it to go back that far just yet. So let's just do a couple of these. And then get our bucket. This is just to keep it hydrated, that way we can hide the water back here. And it's just out of the way of any redstone mechanics that we're going to have to use. And because it's within the 4 block radius of where the dirt's going to be, the dirt should have... Oh, did I miss a block? Here we go. The dirt's going to have no problem being hydrated by this. So let's just quickly do that. Come on, guy. There we go. Hop back round here. I've got a bunch of zombie pigmen, which are just wandering around, which are starting to do my nutting. I could just hear them grunting and moaning. But every single time I kill one, another 2 of them spawn. They're just being a right pain at the moment. We're going to need you there. Yeah, because these are the plants, aren't it? Now, I'm not 100% sure. Can they grow on stone, or does it have to be on dirt? This is something that I am not 100% sure of. Which I should really be, considering that I'm building a farm for it. But hey ho. So that's all of them. Can we get rid of you guys now? Just for a second, because you're very distracting in the middle of the room. And then we should hopefully have some seeds, or more seeds. So I'll hop up here. I know that we've got some in our storage, so quickly grab these guys. Like so. I do apologise if my voice is coming across a little bit gravelly. I've had, well, I keep on having a bit of a cough. I don't feel ill, but my throat keeps on getting really dry and scratchy. So it may be the beginning of a bug, but fingers crossed it's not. Every now and again I do have to go into a bit of a coughing fit, but it should be fine. What do we do with that bone meal? Let's just grab this and do one of these guys. Hey, come on, there we go. Now what I actually want to do is, rather having each one of these sections self-activating, I actually want to link our activation method into the chickens when they lay eggs. So each time an egg gets laid and passes through the system, it will then activate the collection for this, and also what's going to be on the opposite side, which is going to be our lossless sugarcane farm. Well, fingers crossed lossless anyway. I'm hoping. The thing with this side is that I can nudge the carts, and they will actually come off the track. So I've got to be a little bit careful when I'm going ahead and decorating this area, because obviously I can't place any blocks near the slime blocks that can stick to it, which leaves me with like glazed terracotta and leaves, I think. I think note blocks used to be one, but I think they changed that. But yeah, it's a pity. Now, sugarcane, we are going to want equal sides away. So the plant is 1 block away, but we're going to have glass at the front of this one. So I reckon collection system here, because we want the collection directly underneath where the sand's going to go, and we are going to use sand because sand is just a lot more aesthetically pleasing than dirt, although we have got dirt on the other side for growing the other things, so maybe dirt. No, I think I still prefer sand over it, regardless of what the other side's got on it. So we're going to need some powered rails, and we're going to need our hoppers back. So let's say collection can come over to here. And then what we're going to want to do, rather than having this minecart running constantly, because we're going to have a hopper minecart underneath the sand collect it, we are going to want to send the hopper minecart off at the same time that the, at day at harvest, so it will pick it all up on one run rather than having to constantly be running. Because we've got a hopper minecart constantly running underneath our slime farm, and I really don't want these guys running whenever they don't really absolutely have to be. So let's grab some powered rails, and we're going to need to break up this powered rail from the rest, so we're going to need one standard. Can we get standard? Yes we can. Standard rail. So then that end one can stop the minecart and start it. And then we're going to want some of you and maybe some of you. Just to avoid complications, we can throw a couple of redstone blocks down here. Say a 1 and a 2. And then we should just be able to run these guys all the way along. And then that will just bounce back and forth. Why can I hear a slime? Really? Really, you can see that I'm going in here to work, and yet you constantly come in here to hassle me. I swear I'm going paranoid with slime sounds. I can definitely hear one somewhere around here, but as to where it is anyone's guess. But I do actually need to grab some sand, so while I'm up, didn't want to do that. Let's quickly throw garbage blocks that we don't need on us. God, whenever I'm working and I'm recording, my inventory gets so clogged so quickly, and I can never figure out why. Because whenever I pick up random stuff, I never seem to put it away, because I just want to carry on recording without having to cut unnecessarily, but maybe some cuts are definitely necessary. Because all of this stuff, like me running around and grabbing the bits I clearly did not have prepared, is probably something that you lot could have done without having to see. But hey, it's already happened, so let's move on. Let's quickly get our sand in place. Can we do this? And I'm out of food. Okay, sorry about that quick cut. Once again, a little bit of a coughing fit, so if I do end up coughing loudly or anything, I'll more than likely just edit out. So I'll be apologising for stuff that you probably won't end up hearing. So let's just carry on. Where were we? We did want to put the water back behind here for this guy. So, alright, so we've got the water in, but I think we're going to need to have some form of light sources in this area. Otherwise it's going to be very, very dark. What can you do for light sources? I reckon every 3 blocks. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 net. That is perfectly spaced as well. Completely unplanned, but very happy for the OCD friendly people. Do that. And then we're going to want our pistons, which we've not got on us clearly. Inventory space, please. Our pistons, we're going to want normal standard pistons, and these guys are just going to be lined up along here. Have we got enough? Just enough as well. Oh, everything's coming up trump here. So, oh, you know what? Why have we put them there? We're gonna, I can't be asked to take them out and replace them, so I'm just gonna double up on them, and then we're gonna need a nice colourful, well, not colourful block, but a better block than stone. So we've got some green terracotta here, which can be our decoration block for this side. Oh, and very cute. And then we can put our sugarcane on. And there we go. That doesn't look too bad. And then we can obviously replace up there with the green terracotta, but we're also going to need a layer of glass. So, you know what? All of these guys are going to have to just go out here for a second, because everything is just getting in the way. So let me do a little bit of inventory management. Okay, so cleared my inventory quite a bit and tidied up in here just to get the chest out of the way. And what we are going to have to do now, we've had no pumpkins grow and it's been around about 10-15 minutes, so I'm just going to replace a couple of these stone blocks with just dirt, because I think it may be a case that they will only just grow on dirt. Well, that's my hopes anyway, otherwise we may have to figure something out. If it is just dirt they grow on, then I can actually leave this whole side open, which works for me because I quite like it open. But unfortunately with the sugarcane, we are actually going to have to encase it. So before we do that, we're just going to replace this top line here with the green terracotta to save us having to do it in a moment. So grab all this stone and patch up all the holes where our pick has gone wildly out of control and started breaking everything. I'll do that. And green terracotta. Can we get some of you? Thank you. So do this. Beautiful. And then we want, say, to bring it up just down like that. I don't think the hopper minecart is going to be able to get out there. How can we test this? Can we... Let's just make a button. Will this work? Okay. Nah, so I didn't think it was going to be able to get out there, so... Pickle, pickle, pickle. We may have to just get rid of one line of it in order to frame it off properly without having to redo the power line. But then in order to do this, we're going to make sure that we don't let all the water leak out and wash our rails away. We're going to need this piston back. Which means our lighting isn't OCD friendly, but it's directly behind the sugarcane. So I think it looks alright, and then we can just bust out the little line above it and put the green terracotta up there as well. Let's do this. Thank you. Okay, that looks alright. And then we're going to need some glass just to encase that. So, have we got any glass? We've got a little bit there. I think we should have loads in our storage system. So I went resource hunting around about, well, not today actually, I went resource hunting yesterday. And I just grabbed a load of bits and pieces for different side projects that I've been working on. And down we go. Okay, so pumpkin is definitely growing on the dirt without an issue. But I think time will tell if we get any grow on the... I want to say stone. Yes, stone. Really? And then do this. Don't worry, afterwards I will be going around and redecorating above and below the glass, and all I've decided exactly what I'm decorating it with is just going to be a case where I'm going to have to wait and try to figure it out, because I need to try to make both sides match. Now with the glass coming out there and the crops on this side coming out to where they are, I think we are sort of very OCD friendly, so it's working out for me alright. Now, in order to have this work the way that we want, we are in fact going to have to be able to run a redstone line back behind here to these pistons, and then also redstone line around the back to that side. So how far back do we have to go? Is it another 1 or 2? Please say 1. I think we're on the right side of it here. And then, is it just up? Oh, here they are. So if we just bust out this line here. So let me do this. Let me get all of the redstone sort of lines just fed round, because it's very simple. I don't think you need me to explain how to run a redstone line to activate a piston. But yeah, let me just run the redstone lines around here and I'll bring you back. Alright, so, oh, there we go, another pumpkin's just grown. I've got the redstone lines run for both sides. This one's got a repeater in. This one was a little bit finicky just purely because of the length of it went on a little bit longer. The pistons are all lined up right one next to the other. So you can't put a repeater directly in line, so you have to run like a secondary line to extend the signal. It's just a little bit finicky, but it's simple enough to do. Now, let's give these both a quick test. I should have... No, I do not. Yeah, grab a button, and this should send the minecart off and also extend all the pistons. And then the minecart will come back. Thank you. Can I get the button back? Or just the entire block that the button was on? Yeah, that works as well. And then let's grab you back. And then this guy should harvest 3 pumpkins. Have we got any in here? No, we haven't. So fingers crossed this all works. Okay, that I was not expecting. Why did they fling all the way over here? And only 2 of them done it. Maybe we are going to have a glass barrier up in front of this after all. Okay. So I picked one of them up, but for some reason... There's our 3 pumpkins. Let's just give this another couple of tests just to see what happens, because every time I tested it in a test world, none of them went flying. The whole point of this design is that it's meant to be lossless. And yeah, now it's being lossless. Why the first time did it fling it? I think we're going to have to try to figure that out. If it does keep on flinging it over, what I will have to do is do a blockade of glass, and obviously where the slime blocks are, I'm just going to put probably glazed terracotta, so that way they can't stick to the block rather than leaf blocks. So I don't really like the look of leaf blocks. And I'm sure that we can find some terracotta that will actually match the theme of it. But that was definitely strange. Now we're going to want our area for our chickens, because we're going to need some eggs, and then this is also going to be our way of activating the farm. So if we have our chickens, say, is that a decent height, do you reckon? Or 1... Who's round in the sea? Okay, that may have been me, but not since like the first week of playing, so I'm fairly sure if it was me, that stuff would despawn by now if it's only 1,000 blocks out. Excuse me. And then, is that going to be a decent height, do you reckon? I think it should be. We then do that. Now, obviously, with these guys, I'm not going to be able to replace the blocks on, so I'm going to need to pick a cosmetically decent block before doing this. Let's just patch them in. Okay, so we're going to give that pumpkin thing another test because I have no idea why the first two went flying out as far as they did. Cosmetic, cosmetic. We got green or we got orange? I think green may be the theme for this little room here. So let's do something like that. And then maybe some glowstone. Like the glowstone we can throw in afterwards, and then we're going to have glass at the front obviously. And then we're also going to need some actual chickens. So what I did go ahead and do before our chicken cooker, well before I busted our chicken cooker, I did actually go ahead and inventory's full again. And words think today, and put it on to just harvesting the eggs. Is what I was finally going to get round to saying, believe it or not. But wrong box shoe. Do that. And we want to keep the redstone bits and pieces on us because we're going to need to throw in the firing mechanism. And then yeah, this one has all of our eggs in. All our eggs in one basket, let's say. I'm fairly sure that's what they say that you're definitely not meant to do. Is not have all your eggs in the same basket. In case you drop the basket, bad things happen. Let's have a quick bite to eat. And then, by the way, I have no idea what sort of saturation value the pumpkin pie gives you, but I'm hoping it's decent considering the amount of effort that we're having to go through to get some form of automation on it. Gonna need a little bit of headroom in order for us to jump up. Okay, and then it's just a matter of spamming some eggs in here and praying. What I'm gonna, oh, there you go. I'm going to say what I was going to do is if I didn't get any in the first batch, then I would have waited till no one else is online, because if they've got tons of passive mobs loaded, then I think the odds on me getting baby chicks coming from eggs, but I don't think that their spawn cap around them is taken in consideration when chicks come out of eggs by the looks of it. Oh, sorry. Oh, and again. So what we want is probably at least around about 6, maybe 7. I think that's number 6 already. That may be number 7. Oh, that may be number 8. Maybe 10? Okay. I'm yet to have more than one chick come out of the same egg though. That's something that I would really like to happen one day. Okay, we're getting less and less unlucky, but less and less unlucky, double negative, does that mean that I am getting lucky? Let's just see what we get, okay. And I think that should be more than enough for what we need them for, so box these guys in, get some glowstone in here, like so. And then we can probably just cap this off with glass. And then for the time being, we can swap out these front facade bricks with whatever block palette that we actually want to go with in the end. Whoa, there's a very high jump. How can I possibly get up there without going too high? You know what? Really? So some of them I could place up there, but the others I can't. Let's just do that for a second. Okay, so we've got our chickens in place. So what we want to do is get some comparators on us. And then what we want to do is link this thing up. So whenever an egg passes through the hopper, safe, there we go. Whenever an egg passes through, say, this hopper, we should get a signal coming out the back here. Can we get a comparator on the go? There we go. And run a repeater. And then maybe some blocks. Don't need that button there anymore. Like that. Come on, guy. Yep, that should be alright. Then that can activate that side. And then need to get back around. And then that can activate that guy. Okay, happy days. I think all the fundamentals, if my words will come out correctly, all the fundamentals are in place, all the farm mechanics are in place. We've got a... Is that stop sparkling now? No, it's not. Yeah, we've got all of the mechanics in place. We've got all the 3 separate partitions of the entire farm in place. I think we should really give these pumpkins another go, just to see what happens. So... I'm going to have to make another button. Whenever you break them by hand, they don't actually give back the item. So we've got 3 pumpkins in there now. Let's see if these other ones go flying. Oh, yep, there's one. Is it just the first ones that it happens on? That one was there, wasn't it? That is really, really weird. Okay, I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. So what I'm going to do is that in between this cut and the next one, I'm going to do a little bit of decorating, tidy it all up, keep an eye on these pumpkins, let the chickens grow up, or let the chicks grow up into chickens, and we'll see how far I get before the next cut. Okay, so it's actually been a good day or so since that last bit of recording, and my voice has actually improved considerably. I think it might have just been one of them sort of 24-hour bugs, and zombie pigmen are constantly trying to get into this room. I've made some adjustments to this area now. Now you can see it's all polished and cleaned and decorated throughout. Now there's a couple of changes I made. I was still getting issues of the pumpkins flying off, and then also of the sugarcane getting crushed through the actual glass. So then Matt came over to help me try to find the slimes that were jumping around, and I had around about 5 of them jumping around behind the back of our sorting system. So we sort of half-slabbed that area, and then he came down here to have a look at what I was doing, and he made a suggestion of running some glass panes in, and that has solved both the issues for either side. So the pistons are no longer pushing the sugarcane directly against the actual glass block, which means that they are not sort of getting crushed and then pushed through the block itself. So that's now dropping down. We've actually got the minecart track doing a circular motion underneath these terracotta blocks as well. So then it's picking up all of the bits that can drop anywhere within there. So that's 100% lossless. And then the glass panes over here are stopping the pumpkins from going flying out, allowing the minecarts to actually pick them up and dispose of them inside the hopper chain. So that's now all running through, and it's kicking off each time the guys are laying eggs. So we've got a bunch of eggs in here. Now obviously they're laying eggs a lot quicker than the pumpkins, and the sugarcane is growing, and that's because I think I may have overdone it a little bit on the chicken set. But what I have gone ahead and done is done an overflow for the chickens, so they will continue to lay eggs even after this double chest is filled, and it will still continue to trigger the mechanism that sends all of these guys off. Which means that we're going to constantly be producing the pumpkins and sugarcane even after that double chest is full of eggs. But I thought I'd bring you back now. I've done like the decorating bits and pieces, tidied it up. I've had to put a door on the end here to prevent the zombie pigmen from coming in. And that's because they spawn quite regularly due to the size of our portal. And they was actually coming in and trampling my pumpkin crops. So that wasn't too great. So what we are going to do is get the first making of pumpkin pie on the go. So we need a stack of pumpkins, a stack of eggs, and a stack of sugarcane. And then we've got some crafting benches just here. So we want sugar, and then boom, our first lot of pumpkin pies. So hopefully the saturation of them is better than the roast chicken, because well, it's a nice change. I'd hate when you first start on a server, obviously the first sort of food source you go for is the auto chicken cooker, and that's because it's so cheap and reliable to make. But then when it gets to sort of later game, you've got the option of going full on steak, because I think that's got like the highest saturation. And besides that, I think you've got golden carrots, which we could go for, considering we've got quite a large abundance of gold. So making golden carrots wouldn't be an issue, but I thought to make a change we'd go for pumpkin pie. So we're actually going to take this guy off our list of projects to do. I'm going to put a blank one back there, because we're definitely going to find another project. What other ones could we probably work on? Obviously not in today's episode, but trying to think of the next episode. I think I may go for the super smelter in the next one because I'm desperate to have some sort of smelter. But then, in order to get a super smelter on the go, I need to sort of create a what do I call it? Replenishable fuel source, because I don't fancy just sort of begging off of Mac each time I need some kelp blocks. I know that he's got a ridiculous amount of kelp blocks, but I don't want to have to keep on going over there and pinching his stuff when I could have the fun of sort of creating my own farm or fuel source. So we're definitely going to tackle that in more than likely the next episode. But to finish this episode off, because I know that we're running low on time now, and I really don't want the episode going over the 20 to 25 minute mark, so hopefully my editing skills are on point, because I did say I was going to time myself, and honestly after the first little cut I just stopped the timer. I didn't really keep track. So to finish this episode off, what we're going to do is do a quick time lapse of the building going around our cactus storage, because I want to get another building up, and that cactus storage has started doing my head in each time I go up to the surface, because it's just like a bunch of chests laying out in the open surrounded by netherrack, and it's right next to one of our other builds. I want to tidy it up and actually do that, so I'm going to grab the bits and pieces and we can jump straight into the time lapse. Yeah, it's definitely a wide variety of buildings. I'm not overly keen on the building that I have built compared to our first one. We've got a creeper on the roof, by the way. And I have seen him, don't worry, I'm not blind. Is there a way of me... Ah, that was just terrible. I came in way too low to get the shot off there. Come on. Yeah, headshot. Okay, so I like that building a lot better than this one, but I didn't want to do the exact same roof and the exact same style, so I think it's going to be something that we play around with a lot when it comes to the different buildings, that each one's going to be its own unique style and roof and design compared to the one. Like this one's got a circular dome shaped roof, that one's got a sort of oriental inspired roof, and this one's got a sort of fortress style build roof. But yeah, I'm not 100% landed on it, especially with when you're up this sort of close to it, you don't really get the profile, and I didn't want to take it up too tall because I want the cactus silo to actually be one of the tallest buildings on our island, mainly because it adds a little bit of greenery sort of to the skyline. Yeah, don't know, I think a few little details here and there added on, maybe a couple of little adjustments to round off the edges could probably improve it. But yeah, rather than me carry on talking and killing time, if you're worrying about this flag, I will go into detail about that in the next episode. I've sort of been running passes for the better part of about 4 or 5 episodes, and I've actually, I don't know if I've explained what's going on with this flag and whatnot, but I'm sure I will get round to it in the next episode. So hope you enjoyed today's episode, and hopefully my voice wasn't too croaky at the beginning of it. I know that I said it sounds like it's getting better and it feels like it's getting better, but I keep on having the odd voice breaks here and there, which are very disconcerting, but I don't feel rough, so yeah, maybe it's just a scratchy throat. Well, nevertheless, hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.